this little boy came up and handed me an envelope. Okay. Joseph Knox, 6 years old. Thank you, Patty.
For your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commander. This is Massachusetts 22nd Volunteer Infantry. These gentlemen here, they volunteer their time to go out and reenact the history that was so prevalent during the Civil War era. And we have to say thank you very much. Also, before I start the ceremony this time, first of all, my name is Bob Arsaw. I'm the Veterans Agent of the town of Hanson. This auditorium is dedicated to the veterans who sacrificed their lives in World War I and World War II. Many times people don't realize the meaningfulness of this auditorium. There are plaques off to my left, which would be your right. If you have an opportunity, take the time to take a look at the names of the plaques, because these people, as I said, once again, sacrificed their lives so we can live free today. Thank you very much. At this time here, I'd like to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Hanson Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and Brownies, and anybody else who is here today. The Scouts. You be seated at this time. Leading the Scouts here is Kevin Key. Leading the Scout leaders, they have done many, I guess you'd say, deeds in the town here. Many times when something comes up, people call on them to assist them in doing these different duties at different projects around town. At this time here, I'd like to say a public welcome, and thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you. I'd like to have the opening prayer, Reverend Michael Hobson, St. Joseph the Worker Church. Reverend? Let us pray. Almighty eternal God, as we gather with our loved ones throughout this day in the United States of America, and especially in our community here of Hanson, we remember all those in our American military services who have given the ultimate sacrifice of their lives in the service to our country. We ask for an end to all violence and war throughout the world, so that there may be no further unnecessary loss of human life. Today, may we give honor to all of our fallen servicemen and women, mindful of their love for us. May you turn our sadness to joy, knowing that there are those who are willing to defend freedom and secure the peace of our country, that they are not forgotten. Keep us ever mindful that the preciousness of all human life is worth defending. We ask this in your holy and eternal name. Amen. Thank you very much, Reverend Hobson. At this time, we'll have the reading of the Governor's Memorial Day Proclamation by the Hanson Board of Selectmen, Jim McGahan.
Proclamation. Whereas, while the nation was still recovering from the horrors of the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor those Union and Confederate soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas, after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country. Renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May is when people remember and honor the memory of all the men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts citizens have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas their legacy of patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all Americans, and where it is appropriate that all Massachusetts citizens remember the bravery of those who gave their lives, so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, who hereby proclaim May 30th, 2016 to be Memorial Day. Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth.
Thank you. Reading of the proclamation makes my heart official for the town of Hanson and you people who are turning out today to honor veterans both past and present. I was remiss in thanking the Boy Scouts. Dave Winter up there, I apologize, I didn't see you up there. Dave was another key element of the Hanson Boy Scouts in Hanson for a good many years. Thank you very much, Dave. I realized in my itinerary that I put together for today, there are many people who didn't make it here because of the inclement weather. So the itinerary has been somewhat revised, and I'm going to be skipping over some of the people who are on the parade schedule to talk today because they're not here. At this time here, I'd like to have a gun salute. Well, this will be a reenactment by the 22nd Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry.
Arms. 3 sets. Arms. Shoulder. Arms. Order. Arms. Parade. Rest.
What they have just done, they've just gone through a reenactment. What we normally do if we're outside, they would actually fire the weapons out at that time. As you well know, because of the concerns on here and what have, we couldn't very well do that. We'd have to pay for a new roof. I don't think we can afford that this week. I'd like to have the reading of the Gettysburg Address by Selectman Bruce at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. The Battle of Gettysburg occurred over 3 hot summer days, July 1st to July 3rd, in 1863, around the small market town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It began as a skirmish, but by its end, it involved over 160,000 Americans, and it effectively decided the fate of the Union. On November 19th, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln went to the battlefield to dedicate it as a national cemetery. In just over 2 minutes, Lincoln evoked the principles of equality espoused by the Declaration of Independence and redefined the Civil War, not only as a struggle to preserve the Union, but as a new birth of freedom, that would bring true equality for all of its citizens. On this Memorial Day 2016, I would like to recite for you now a short but historic address composed and made famous by President Abraham Lincoln 153 years ago. The Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any other nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, and we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, and that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, and that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth.
Thank you very much, Bruce. That proclamation is so meaningful for this weekend, whether it be today or whether it be as we place the flowers on our families or loved ones' graves. Many times we move too fast. Sometimes we have to slow down and anticipate and interpret what the meaning of the day or what the weekend is. Thank you very much, Bruce. As moving through the itinerary here, as I said, many people aren't here who are going to participate in the ceremony because of the weather, that I understand. So, Pastor Chris from the Calvary Baptist Church, are you here? Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you. Calvary Baptist Church, I will say, the deacon or the pastor down there has been the mainstay. They've been in the parade every year and have supported us. So I'd like to publicly thank the Calvary Baptist Church. Thank you very much, Pastor.
I was asked to speak just very quickly on the meaning of the day, and I'd rather let somebody else speak for us as I read perhaps the most fitting tribute to Memorial Day that was written back in 1915 by John McCrae. Battlefield in France where his good friend was killed, and he presided over his service as a funeral. After he was finished, he was so moved, he went back into his officer's tent and wrote this poem, which was then recovered later by others on the field. He had no intention for it to be published, nor to have the meaning that it does for us today. It reads as this. I think I can read without my glasses. I kid myself and everybody else. In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived. We felt dawn, we saw sunset glow. We were loved, and we loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If we break faith with us who die, We shall not sleep till poppies grow in Flanders fields. I know there are perhaps some of you that are in the seats or standing here that have suffered the loss of a loved one due to their defense of our country or their carrying out their responsibilities as a first responder. And to you I say, it is our responsibility, my responsibility, our church's responsibility, our community's responsibility, yea, our nation's responsibility to never forget that sacrifice, to never waste that opportunity to present the privilege of freedom and liberty that we have, which allows me, as a member of the clergy, to stand every week on Sunday morning at my pulpit and proclaim the Word of God. There's not many countries with which we can do that with the freedom we enjoy. So to you who have served, those of you who are continuing to serve, I say thank you. Let's pray. Father, we are giving thanks today for the lives of those that were given on the battlefield and the carrying out of responsibility as first responders, for their commitment to the liberty and the principles of freedom that were established by our founding fathers in the very Constitution that they uphold and that they protect. God, I pray your comfort on family members who may be here, friends, co-workers, who are remembering the loss of these people in their lives. Father, I pray that they would sense the everlasting arms of God around them, and that you comfort them. May we as a community gather around, may we as Calvary Baptist Church and the other houses of faith that are represented here be that source of comfort and help, Father, as we band together to continue these principles onward. May we do this and faithfully serve you and others, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very meaningful words of the day. At this time, we'll have a few words from our keynote speaker, Hanson resident, Colonel Jerry Luzo, U.S. Army, retired.
It is an honor to have been invited and to be able to join you today as a veteran and a member of this community as we gather to offer respectful gratitude, memorialize, and venerate the men and women who died while in military service to our country, the veterans who did not return home. That distinction is one that often is lost in the holiday activities that take place. But it is one reason why veterans often find it a difficult day to observe, to express their feelings, sometimes even to participate in normal Memorial Day events. If there is one thought I hope we will share as we walk away from this site, not the original cemetery site, but appropriately Memorial Hall, that we will keep sacred the notion that Memorial Day is an opportunity set aside for us as a country and as individuals to express our gratitude each in our own way, but of like mind, when we say to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, thank you. I will remember what you did for me, for my family, for our country. I am and will remain eternally grateful to all of you. I mentioned that veterans often find today uncomfortable to observe in the ways that you might expect. For example, our 4 children will remember seeing me march in Bristol, Rhode Island 4th of July parades, or getting picked up locally at Cranland Airport by helicopters, wearing this uniform for their Navy and Army commissioning ceremonies, enlisted basic training graduation, a Green Beret graduation, administering their promotion oath of office to Navy Lieutenant Commander, and a great military wedding thrown in the mix. The conflicts of veterans can also be present and were at some of those otherwise joyous occasions. When veterans and active duty personnel present had visible or emotional wounds from their service, or they remembered fallen or severely injured comrades who could not and would never be able to participate in such events, and those who would not return home. So some Memorial Days are just difficult for veterans and their families, and it is not something easily explained. A friend who also served in Vietnam only a couple of years ago finally shared with me why he never got over the experience, and he goes through some tough spells. After that conversation, he added me to his very short list of people he knows he can now call for help. There are times when veterans need to handle their own memories in their own ways. When I was in Germany and in Vietnam, it was a tough time in our country, marked by rampant drug use and social and racial unrest in the general population, as well as in the military. Today's soldiers have been facing similar challenges and even more. Coming home from Vietnam, we were encouraged to change into civilian clothes as soon as we could upon landing at our first airport, for example, San Francisco or Seattle. It was less likely we would be spit on or get into an argument with someone calling us names and saying something to provoke a reaction. Fortunately, that has changed, but not as smoothly as you might expect from the military side. While saying thank you for your service is for the most part graciously accepted, you may at times notice that you get an awkward look or a reaction that is not quite what you might expect when you say thank you to somebody. Just keep in mind that we are sending our military on repeated deployments. We have over 100,000 homeless vets, over 40,000 troops wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan, a suicide rate of 20 a day, family disruptions, and emotional strains that are difficult to understand and treat. We can't personally thank deceased military for their service, but we need to do what we can for their families. Anytime you have the chance to promote the mental and physical well-being of a surviving family member, please make it a priority. We started our time together with a reminder to say a simple thank you. I will remember what you did for me, for my family, for our country. I am and will remain eternally grateful to all of you. We can and must take the next step and assure the over 1.1 million American military killed in all wars that we will honor the promises made to our injured and emotionally drained and scarred veterans. They and the people charged with their care depend on us, and we cannot let them down. Only 0.5% of the population is carrying the burden of protecting the rest of us. There has to be a better way for us to take care of them when they need our help. It is not charity, it is a sacred obligation. As one author on the subject so aptly stated it, expressions of thanks constitute the beginning, not the end of obligation. With that point made, we express our gratitude to every person in the military who did not have the opportunity to return home as a veteran. We can do that in many ways throughout the year. To do so is what Socrates, the Greek philosopher and a fearless soldier himself, advised over 2,400 years ago when he noted that no man is truly dead until he is no longer remembered. Thank you for your respectful attention. Any consideration you will give these comments going forward, especially as parents, and the consideration you will offer all our fallen military, our veterans, and our active duty military and their families. Would you join me in closing by repeating after me, in any voice you choose, the 3-sentence thank you to those who did not come home. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will remember what you did for me.
I will remember what you did
For my family.
for my family,
For our country.
for our country.
I am and will remain
I am and will remain
eternally grateful to all of you.
eternally grateful to all of you.
And I thank you. It was an honor to be with you.
I have to say thank you, Jerry. In all the years I've been doing this here, it. Right on. Right on. And from my Office of Veteran Services to you and your family, thank you very much, and the citizens of Hanson. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all you people who have shown up and participated today. Hanson American Legion, Post 226, Commander J. Hamilton. Hanson Police Department, Chief Mist. Hanson Fire Department, Chief Thompson. Hanson Boy Scouts. American Legion, the Little Women's Auxiliary there. I'd like to say thank you to Hanson Board of Selectmen and you, the citizens of Hanson, for giving me the opportunity to serve as your veterans agent over the years. I really appreciate it. It's really meaningful to me. Thank you very much, and the ceremonies are open. Thank you very much. Everybody's invited.